Hey everybody, Kyle Goth here from GoatFilmReviews.com and the Goat Film Reviews YouTube channel. I'm hanging out in my library. I just got back from a screening of the Super Mario Brothers movie, which is now officially the highest grossing video game adaptation of all time. Just crossed $500 million, but I just got a chance to see it today, and here are my thoughts. Going into it, let me be clear, I don't... The original movie from the 90s is a bad movie. I admire what it's trying to do. And this one, going into it, I was like, okay, I'd rather see a live action version. I know that's a much more difficult thing to do, but animation and Illumination does a pretty good job with these kinds of things. So overall, I did like the film. I wish I had liked it a lot more. It's a very flawed film. There are some story issues. I mean, the story really is almost nowhere. Don't you agree? The story goes almost nowhere. It's pretty simplistic and merely just a way to set up specific action set pieces or comedic moments and a lot of nostalgia. It's essentially member berries, the movie, more so than I can remember in any recent film, really hitting as many like beats of remember this game, remember that moment, remember this enemy, remember that item. And let me be clear that it did work in a lot of ways. When I saw something that triggered that nostalgic feeling in me, I did have a lot of fun finding those little Easter eggs and seeing kind of a greatest hits of Mario ideas. You know, there's a little bit of Luigi's Mansion hinted in some points. There's parts of Mario Kart that are hinted at. It almost seems like there's a fight between Mario and Donkey Kong at one point that seems almost set up to be like a Super Smash Brothers moment. You know, there's that Donkey Kong Country theme. There's things in it that really do work. There's also some things that don't. Like I said, the characters are underdeveloped. The story is extremely underdeveloped. Where it shines, I think, is Bowser, played by Jack Black, Charlie Day as Luigi, and Anya Taylor-Joy as Peach. I'm still not entirely convinced by Chris Pratt's performance as Mario. It just kind of like switches back and forth a little bit between like too much of an Italian accent, not enough of one, and never really finds that perfect middle. But Anya Taylor-Joy, Jack Black, and Charlie Day were all great in the film. I really liked the musical score of the film. It found a way of like utilizing all of these popular little musical motifs from the games, and very rarely did it ever feel like it was just shoehorning something in for nostalgia. The score, I think, is probably the best element of the film. That being said, Illumination did the thing that they always do, which is they jammed in a bunch of classic musical pieces of like rock songs that just didn't really have anything to do with Mario. Kind of like how they do with is it John Legend getting one of his songs in every Despicable Me film. And it's kind of like you could have done so much more. You could have given them more to the score, because when the music just kind of gives a foreboding sense and you hear that little Donkey Kong Country theme come in as they're about to meet Donkey Kong, and it's a really powerful way to kind of flourish with those memories and let you know as an audience member where you're headed and what you're doing. And the music I thought was very captivating for it, and probably the best element of the film. So why did they shoehorn in a bunch of songs that really have nothing to do with the characters or the plot? I don't know. Yeah, all things considered, I think it was strong enough. I think it was a slight improvement over the 90s film in terms of overall quality, but I also think I might have had more fun watching the 90s movie for all the badness that's in there. So, you know, kind of a mixed bag here, but I do recommend people see it. I think it is, there's more wins than losses here, but I really wouldn't say, if you're not a fan of Mario, if you don't play the games, both old and new, you may not find as much to love here. But for me, as someone who's been a Mario fan and player for my entire life, enough of it won me over in the end that I felt entertained, and I felt excited for where they might go with a follow-up. So, yeah, slight recommendation from me. Let me know what you thought about the Super Mario Brothers movie down below. What's your favorite video game adaptation? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear them. You can also check out GoatFilmReviews.com for my many written reviews. You can find Goat Film Reviews on Facebook. You can also check me out on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at Almighty Goatman. You can also find my show, Kyle and Nick on Film, that I co-host with Nick Palachuk from the St. Paul Filmcast. We've got new episodes every single week. All those links are down in the description. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.